It's LIN live with Spank and Sam. It's a show for everyone, boy, woman, girl, and man. So tune in on Facebook and YouTube. Guaranteed to make you laugh and make you feel good. Yeah, it's the LIN live show with Spank and Sam. It's the LIN live show with Spank and Sam. It's the LIN live show with Spank and Sam. It's the LIN live show with Spank and Sam.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LIN Live, baby.
We live, baby.
I am Alfonso Spanky Jones, and I have my co-host here.
I'm Samuel Sam Anthony, the one who put Sam and Samuel. Welcome.
Word. Man, it is another good week to be back with you guys. We are excited to be here with you. I'm on vacation, so I'm feeling real good right now. Like, I am coming to you from the great hotels of the Wyndham Suites.
Ooh, Wyndham Suites. Are y'all plugging this? Are y'all paying for any advertisement spots?
Hey, they ain't got to pay for it. I'm using their Wi-Fi, and it's real good Wi-Fi.
Shout out to the Wyndham. So you said they got the best Wi-Fi in the hotel industry? That's what you said?
Well, the hotel I had before, in the last state I was in, it was super trash. Like,
Okay.
yeah, I was like, I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna just use my data, and then I'm gonna be fine with it.
And so, I mean, you should shout them out too, so they know it's like a live Yelp review.
Mm-mm. It was like I will not say the name of that last hotel I was at because it was so trash. It was so trash.
Hey, y'all, get y'all Wi-Fi together.
It wasn't even like the Wi-Fi. It was the room. Period. Was trash. Like, the shower handle fell off when I went to take a shower. Like, they had like dead roaches near the safe. And like, I walked in, and over the sink was like a bunch of like spider webs and like bugs trapped in the spider webs. I immediately went to the front room. I mean, to the front desk. I was like, "Yeah, I'm in this room, and here's all the things I need taken care of before I stay here, or unless I will take my business somewhere else." So I went off to Universal Studios to chill for the day, and I came back, and all of that was fixed. So I stayed.
Well, shout out to y'all for getting rid of the roaches and the spider webs and fixing the shower handle.
Nah, bro. Yeah.
Because you didn't know somebody was coming to occupy that room before they came. Well, maybe the people who say that like roaches. It's like the bias of the whole. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, unless it was a frog family, like, bro, like. But like, I didn't know I was like, when you book through like a travel site, and like, they make all the pictures look really like nice and flaming, and you get there and you be like, this is not what I ordered.
Trash.
Dude, my Uber dropped me off, and I was just like, where am I? Am I in the hood right now? And it was just like police sirens just constantly going past. I'm like, no, what is this?
Oh yeah, you definitely in the hood.
It forced me to get out of the room. Like, I was like, okay, cool. I'll just come here and just sleep.
I don't want to be here. It's not safe.
I mean, it was like bougie hood. Like, it just looked like hood, but it wasn't like, it didn't have the hood activity, if that makes any sense.
Okay, I feel that.
So,
but it didn't have any hood activity that you saw.
Hey, I didn't want to see it. All I know is there was a Giordano's across the street, so I made a point to order there because I was like, oh, it's a taste of home. It wasn't as trash as I thought it would be because it's not from Chicago. It was actually okay. But that was the worst food I ate that week, though. So
okay. So out of Chicago, Giordano's is pretty much trash, is what you're saying.
I mean, I'm one of those people that think Giordano's is kind of slightly trash, in the city.
Ooh.
I'm more of a Illuminati's person, but that's neither here or there.
Well, I have to get into a debate here. You know what? I like deep dish, so everybody's good at something. Some people have less sauce. Some people have more sauce.
Well, Illuminati's deep dish is all that I eat, and then
okay,
and then Beggars is the thin crust that I eat. I love Beggars.
Beggars is solid. I'm a fan of Home Run In. A lot of people don't like Home Run In.
Home Run In is pizza. That's in Chicago.
Some of the best pizza in Chicago, I don't care, is Italian Fiesta. You know,
No, I that's good grease, bro. That's
you
good
need a
grease.
pound of grease on top of your pizza. Like you got to get napkins to try to like soak up the grease, and then you still need more napkins to soak up the rest of the grease.
You gotta dab it, bro. You gotta dab the pizza. Yeah, dab the pizza. I felt like
That's like that's how you know people are bougie though. The first time eating Italian Fiesta because they just like tapping the pizza. It's
Joe.
all weird over here.
Joe. That's the one I went to. That one was super trash. But they did deliver it early. They sent the oldest guy that works there across the street. Like he just walked my pizza across the street. It was great. He looked pretty winded when he knocked on my door. He was like, knock. Pizza. I was like, thank you. Want some water, sir? Like, are you okay?
And shout out to Frank from Giordano's who walked a whole 2 feet to
Uncle
deliver
Frank.
pizza. Old Frank.
Uncle Frank. But
What's
right
up,
now,
Tom? We see you.
you see you, bro. Enjoy your time, bro.
Enjoy.
But right now I'm in Philadelphia and I'm loving it. It's a very peaceful city. At least where I'm at is peaceful. I've not had any issues.
Okay.
And I went to Philadelphia West service today, and man, it was a good service. Like it was really, really good. A little lengthy, but good.
Okay. That's solid, you know. Old
I know
school Liberty vibes.
I'm waiting on the people. I'm waiting on Philly West to get on here and start defending their service.
we got one person from Philly, y'all. Anybody else? Maybe nobody else went to church today. Maybe that's what it is. You know?
Maybe they might be still in church, bro. You never know.
Let's check. Let us check.
I had to leave a little early to take a nap so I can be here tonight. But what church did you go to today?
I attended the Mother Church today with Apostle Lathan. It's always a good word. She cut us deep and then she sewed us back up. So it made us get ourselves together early and then sewed us back up at the end. So a really good service. I checked out a little bit of the marriage ministry event last night. I was telling them backstage I had some phone issues, and so I didn't see it all. But from what I saw, it was really good. It was solid. You know, so I had a good weekend.
Chantel, the service was good though. I got blessed. Like I was like, so I got a prophecy from Apostle like earlier today, and he caught me right when I was about to hit the leave button on Zoom. It was crazy. It was like I was literally like my mouse was hovering over leave, and he was like, "Oh, Spanky's still here." And I was like, "Oh, hey." You gonna make a bet? You gonna bet, huh? Hey, bet. You know when
service.
you know when women say bet, bro. That's a deadly sign.
Yeah. Well, Spanky, I guess you will be back at Philly West sometime.
Hey, I don't want to die, so yes, I will.
You know, we might come to Philly. Me and my wife were just talking about places to take a vacation before the show. So Philly might be one of our destinations, you know. I'm trying to get some real life cheesecake, you feel me? I'm trying to settle the debate myself, you know.
So
I'm unbiased, so I can settle the debate.
One thing I learned is not to do the touristy spots. Everybody here thinks all the touristy spots are trash. So I was like, okay, take me to like a real spot. And they got me a real cheesesteak yesterday, and I was like, sweet. You know, it was good. It was good. Okay. They put ketchup, like apparently ketchup is like a Philly standard on a cheesesteak.
Oh my Lord. Okay, all right.
It's like onions, ketchup, salt and pepper, and something else, or like cheese. And I'm just like, well, why is cheese like it's a cheesesteak? Like, what do you mean? It's supposed to have cheese.
Yeah.
But it's like American cheese is like the standard. I'm like, what in the processed cheese? That's why them Philly people be angry, man. They inside stopped up with that American cheese.
Better than Italian beef. That's a bold statement, Joe. That's a bold
statement. They said that. Like, they say that here. And I'm like, what? I was like, y'all need to dip this bread in some gravy, like for real. Like this
You
needs
know,
to be
that's what it
baptized.
is. People come to Chicago and don't know that you're supposed to dip the Italian beef. Y'all walking around here with dry bread and disappointed because you didn't do it
I
the right way.
Now, I did eat it because it was set before me. The Bible says eat what's set before you. So therefore, I ate the salt and pepper and the ketchup, the real basic set. They like
Oh, my
Chicago,
bad,
like
Joe. I misread Joe's statement. New glasses.
what do you
Sorry,
say?
Joe.
He
He
said
said
it ain't
it ain't
better.
better. That's right,
He's
Joe.
right. He
Sorry,
is.
Joe.
He
You're
is.
right. I
He's a
apologize.
wise man. But like when they said like the standards of salt and pepper and ketchup, I was like, first and foremost, salt and pepper ain't seasoning. Like that's what on the white people seasoning are y'all doing right now? Like salt and pepper ain't seasoning. You better throw some peppers on that. Oh, and that's what it was, peppers. And like they was like, you want sweet or hot peppers? I said, give me hot peppers. Them peppers wasn't near not hot. I was like, what? Trash hot peppers. But it was good though. I still ate it.
Are you
Finished it
saying
this
that
morning.
because you're in Philly still? And you want to
No,
come home? Or is that just...
there is no one with the guns. There's no one with the gun standing over here telling me I better say that cheesesteaks are the best thing in the world. There is not a gang of Philadelphians outside my hotel room. But
You are a smart man.
but even though I wasn't really working, daylight savings still kicked my butt though. Daylight savings still kicked my butt. I still had to take an hour nap today. Salt and pepper
Yeah,
is basic, real basic.
super
Joe,
basic. Yeah, get your seasonings up, fam.
you gotta throw some oregano on there. You know what I'm saying?
You feel me?
Some cayenne pepper.
Cayenne. Look, paprika don't taste like that, but at least throw it on there. Look like something.
Hey, paprika. If you ever put paprika on some scrambled eggs, bro, it's gonna set your eggs off real nice, bro. I'm
Really?
just saying.
Need to try it out.
It's
Monday
my
morning.
secret, bro. It's my
Mm.
secret. Slow cooking with paprika and garlic powder.
I'm gonna try that out tomorrow morning. Maybe.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Or I might just eat some raisin bran.
What raisin bran, bro? You are too young for raisin bran, bro. I guess that explains a lot about like your livelihood.
What are you doing? Like, I eat raisin bran. Oh, so you're stressed is what you're saying.
You're a young person living an old person life, bro.
You
Better
know,
get you better eat some cinnamon toast crunch while you can, bro. Eat some cinnamon toast crunch while you can.
well, my daughter told me tricks make you invisible, and I was eating tricks, but it didn't make me invisible. So,
It was a
I
trick.
just went back to trick me into eating trick.
Say anything is optional on a Philly cheesesteak. Yeah, like taste.
Let me get an announcement. We need spanking to make it home, please.
It was, but it was food, and I appreciate food. I like food. We still got that announcement of the Bolingbrook is doing a night of what is that? Yeah, a night to remember. I was gonna see if I got the commercial here, or did I? I'm sorry, y'all. I am live searching.
It's all good, you know. This is what happened behind the scenes with LIN Live. So if you want to join the LIN Live team and make my life, Spanky's life, and Elder Mina's life way easier,
Way
hit us up
easier.
in our DMs on Instagram at LIN Live Official and come on and join the team. We need your help.
I put it somewhere else. I haven't been on my laptop in a week, so I don't know where it is. I gotta learn
It's
my
all
laptop
good.
all over again.
It's all good. You're good. You're on vacation, as it should be.
I opened my laptop up. I opened my laptop up for the first time today. That's what I was gonna say, and I was just like, my laptop was like, "Welcome back." I was like, "What?" This Apple product is sentient. Like,
Right.
it's been a week.
Right. It's nice to see you too, fam. Okay, thank you.
I missed you too. Am I in a relationship with my laptop?
Rude,
Laptop looking at me like a mad baby mama. Where you been?
So you just been gone for a week. You ain't gonna say nothing, huh?
You ain't gonna say
Travel the
nothing.
world. You
That's
got to be
not how
around.
this works. That's not how this works.
Oh,
No, I had to remember I had it like flying from one airport to the other. I was like, why am I bringing? Oh, because of this show today. I was like, that's why I brought it. Because I wasn't trying to do no work this week, man. Like I literally didn't take no calls. It was good. It was refreshing. Like my brain, I was like beforehand, I was like on a creative block. I couldn't do much. Like I had to turn down clients because I just could not create. Like I couldn't do nothing. But halfway through this vacation, like everything just opened up and I got like all types of inspired and I'm ready to get back to it when I get home.
that's good. That is good, man. I need to take a vacation too. Shut out the world. Maybe I'll take one.
Gotta
Maybe
take
I
it,
won't.
bro.
You'll
People like I
find
gotta
out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
well, people like I got a schedule. I'm like, no, you just gotta take it. Sometimes you gotta surprise yourself with a vacation. Like, yo, let's go. Sneak out of town for a week. You know, do a sneaky link to another city.
Yeah, I'm trying to go to like Anchorage, Alaska or something. So nobody would do.
You say Alaska?
Yeah, why not? You know, I'm pretty sure stuff to do in Alaska.
Yeah.
Like polar bears and ice fish. Sounds pretty fun to me, right?
All right, bro. You want to fist? If you want to fist bump a polar bear, okay, that's cool. Live your life.
I've never done it before. Why not? YOLO, right? That's what Drake said.
When I landed, it was 75 degrees, bro. Sunny. I was like, yes, this is what I needed. I needed that sun. That Orlando sun was exactly what I needed.
That's good. We've been experiencing summertime shot this past week, you know, so like 60 degrees. So, you know, shorts, t-shirts, everybody at the beach, you know.
all y'all called colds in places. Everybody.
Pneumonia up the wazoo. Pneumonia the P. Not pneumonia.
Y'all walking out there in shorts at 60 degrees gonna catch the cold in your booty hole. Pardon snap. I'm sorry.
That's Chicago for you. Yo. Once you get over 50 degrees, it's a wrap. It's like everything opens up. Everything's crowded. Ice cream parlors, like everything is open. It's like, bro, it's about to snow again. Chill out, man.
You know, you just got to make sure you ain't in fake spring too. You know, there's 12 seasons in Chicago.
we are in fake spring. I heard it's supposed to snow this week. I'm hoping it doesn't. But
that's all the weather, and like that's the weather was in Orlando. It's like, yeah, winter storm coming to the Midwest. I was like, I might get snowed in here.
That might not be so bad, would it be?
I'm snowed into Orlando. I'm gonna fly back and get snowed in.
Don't sound too bad, you know.
Flights cheap.
Yeah, why not?
But we digress. Let's get into the show, man. Let's get into the show. I just wanted to share
that.
Was
that last announcement? That I know we got service Friday. Did we get an announcement flyer for that?
Yes, we got a deliverance service. Chicago's holding a deliverance service this Friday at 7 p.m.
Yeah, 7 p.m. At the Mother Church. So if you're in the Chicagoland area, come get free.
It will be our first in-person experience at the Mother Church in over nearly a year.
Yeah, nearly a year. Yeah.
So,
outside of small events, weddings, some funerals and stuff. Yeah, it'll be our first indoor event. So this will be dope. We will be taking tips at the door. Social distancing masks are required. But if you're in the Chicagoland area, come get set free. If you don't want to come, do not come. Stay at home. It will be streamed from what I'm hearing. So stay at home and watch it.
It'll be streamed, and if you don't feel well, stay home also because you got sick on the second spring, the second fake spring of Chicago. So if you got sick,
I promise you, I'm gonna be in like a full-fledged like hazmat suit, and if I hear you coughing, I'm personally throwing you out the church. You know,
ejected.
It's been a quarantine, so you know I'm skinny, but I've been in the gym. You feel me? I've been in my own gym. So I'm throwing people out the church. Way health.
Wait, did Joe say you got to go skinny dipping if you go to Alaska, bro?
Yeah, Joe ain't trying to let me come back home. He's like, well, maybe trying to extend my vacation. I can stay a couple extra days, just maybe at a hospital in Alaska.
So yes, it will be live. It will be live, in person and online. So tune in, get your deliverance, because you've been locked up for a year. You ain't had hands laid on you, or virtual hands laid on you. They're gonna be laying hands on the screen. You're gonna be Put your head on the screen. Put your head on the screen.
Okay. You gotta bring
slide it up with oil and just.
You gotta bring your oil at home.
It's a teamwork thing. We're gonna slather our hands with oil here, and you just gotta slather your forehead with oil there. It's gonna look like you got laid hands on. You just gotta, and then if you gotta hold your own bag.
Please do.
hold your own bag and trash can.
Yeah, get your kids to do it. Kids like, why am I holding this bag, Bobby? Why? Like, just hold the bag, boy. Just hold it.
Shut up and pray in tongues. Shut up and pray in tongues.
I don't know what tongues is. Just say thank you, Jesus, boy. Just say thank you, Jesus.
Say thank you, Jesus, fast.
And that's how I learned how to pray in tongues. I'll say thank you, Jesus, real fast. So it'll work. It'll eventually drop.
You're right, Ashley. The oil got to drip down from the head down to your toes. You got to be slathered in oil. You got to slather yourself.
Yes, and then it's a pandemic, so put hand sanitizer on your hands afterwards. Yeah.
Actually, make a blessed oil sanitizer mix. We gonna send the ingredients to you in your email. You just got to make sure.
So blessed sanitizer.
Guaranteed to keep COVID away. Might be a little Lysol. We gonna take the Donald Trump approach to things and spray Lysol with oil.
Please do not take any advice from us because we're not liable at all.
Just don't swallow it.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, I'm sorry. My nap was real good, y'all. I am woke right now. I am way more woke than I've been for the last year.
Well, y'all, welcome to LIN Live. We're your hosts.
We were your hosts. We'll see what happens after this, though.
Hey, in the meantime, so when the new hosts come, please buy merch. Yeah, buy merch. Follow us on social media.
Ooh, baby, we got merch. Yeah, get it. That's gonna be the next shirt. Actually, that's gonna be the shirt after the deliverance service. Get it.
I like it.
Get it. Get your deliverance. Get it.
And get your merch, please.
Get it. But no, so tonight's topic is church hopping. And we brought all of our friends along, except for one who blew us off because he wanted to go down water slides. But, we're not holding that against you. It's family time. Family always come first. Because we have one of our contributors here tonight blew us off last time. So it's a makeup. Brandon is next. We're just jokes. These are just jokes. Look, Joe, coming to this wife defense. Look at her. No virtual fighting. But let's get into it. So we're gonna welcome our first contributor of the night. This young lady has been killing it in all of the speaking engagements from what I've seen. She is one of LIN's go-to mentors for Naomi's Corner. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show. Well, back to the show for the first time this season because she blew us off last show. Ladies and gentlemen, Chanel Collins.
Welcome, Chanel.
How you doing?
It's all love.
Thank you all for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome. And fulfilling our light skin quota for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Brandon Newell. You ain't gonna say nothing. You just gonna come on and be light skinned. Okay, bro, we get you, bro.
Brandon, is that one of Apostle Turner's hats? Is that what the chief says? Okay.
Shout out to the chief. Y'all need to add this to y'all merch list. The God First hats.
Yes, sir. It's actually available on LIN. No, CETs.com. It's available there.
Yeah, man.
So get your God First hat
God
and
First
all the
merch.
get your all the other Apostle Quote T-shirts and mugs and carpets and lion heads and all of. They got it all, man. Anything, bro. They got the Zamunda like Shaw on there, but it's like not the full lion head. It's like a kitten. Straight cat.
Just waiting and low. You know what I'm saying? My striker. I already got a few of them. You know, I didn't let me in on the other stuff I was talking about. Smoke. I ain't talking about you in the hotel with his lap open and everything like that. You know what I'm saying?
What are you hearing, bro? That's that license.
That's what I heard. Hotel lap. That's what I heard. Relax, hotel lap. That's what I heard.
Wow. Talk about selective hearing. That's
Raisin Brand is the by the way.
Brandon get people in trouble.
Raisin Brand get you to the gun show. You know what I'm saying? That's what Raisin Brand do for you right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it gets you to a different gun show.
That's what Raisin Brand do for you.
We shoot some other bullets. I'm
just fulfilling light skin quota. That's all. You know what I'm saying? I just got to fulfill the quota, brother.
You know, we usually have your other brother on here, but
that's all good. It's all good.
He decided to slide down the water slides tonight. But no, so we're talking about church hopping today, and this is a topic that has been prevalent in a lot of churches for years. And let's ask the question that that will start us off is, why do you think that is? Why do you think people church hop? And why is that such a prevalent thing that happens, especially in our generation as millennials?
I mean, I asked my kids, I was like, so what y'all think? So I asked my two younger ones, my 16 and my 14-year-old. And so they were saying that sometimes leaders can be offensive or mean or rude, and you don't want to deal with them. And then they also said sometimes they feel like they don't belong. Or they're confused. So that was their answers, so which I thought was kind of powerful for a 14 and a 16-year-old,
Legit.
But sometimes I think it's not a bad idea to church hop in a sense, but we got to define what church hopping is. So I don't know if we're talking about leaving a church, going to another church, leaving a church, going to another church, or if we're just talking about visiting churches. Like, what are we talking about?
We'll get into that. Let's just get the initial thought. Let's broad stroke it first. So for somebody like me, I'm very involved in the church. So like I'm doing announcements, I'm doing praise dancing, then I'm doing offering, and then I got to do the administrative work at the end. So for someone like me to go to another church, sometimes it's a break. It's a breather. I can sit there. I don't got to work. Nobody knows me. No one's going to ask me no questions. I don't have to be nothing but just me and God, and that's it. So for someone like me, I don't mind church hopping if that's what we're saying is church hopping. Okay. Brandon, what do you think? Why do you think people church hop?
Man, it's a few different reasons. Well, first off, I think there's a lot of sensationalism that goes on in the church, a lot of theatrics. You know what I mean? So most of the people that come to church don't necessarily come to church for the same reason that other people particularly come to church for. You know what I mean? So some people are looking for the cutting edge church at the time, or the church that's got the most members, or the pastor that's got the most juice at the time. You know what I mean? So I think that's one of the reasons right there. Another reason too, like I said, the sensationalism of the whole thing. I was discussing it with my wife actually, and people want this feeling, and I mean this physical feeling, you know what I mean? And the Holy Spirit is not physical, you know what I mean? He's tangible, but he's not a physical touch, you know what I mean? And I think that once people feel like they've lost that touch, they've lost that spark or whatever it is that it's almost like a drug, kind of like, whenever it is that they're looking for that spiritual high, once
Yeah.
their spiritual high is dull or is not being met anymore, then they tend to church out. And then I think third, finally, just people. I think they get caught up in the vision of the church too. It's important to know who you are before you start interacting and getting intertwined in the things of the church. You know what I mean? Because to me, you can always easily tell you can tell a person when you give them power, when you give them money, when you give them status, things like that. So people, in my opinion, who get into church and overdo it, put they, try to put they power. It's like they try to overexert themselves, and then the leadership will rebuke them, and then they'll get mad. You know what I mean? Because they weren't allowed to facilitate or do certain things. Then I think it's important to understand too, although we in church, it's the business of God. You know what I mean? So this is church. Yeah, we're coming together, lifting up holy hands and holy hearts in an attempt to get the Holy Spirit to come in. The music, they got all of this music and lights and stuff like that now, and it's like a whole experience. You know what I mean? So I think that's what people when people what they're looking for, and then when they don't get it, then they'll tend to leave the church. So those are some of the reasons that I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with those reasons. Sam, did you have something?
Yeah, so I'm looking at somebody's definition on the internet. So church hopper is someone who desires not to settle at any particular local church, but rather hop from church to church to suit their yearnings, and/or someone who finds themselves at a different church every couple of years for reasons beyond relocation, doctrine, and philosophy of ministry. And so for me, a lot of people, I think it's a difference between searching for a church and church hopping. That's two different things in my eyes. A lot of times, and we'll get into this later a little more, when you're first getting saved, a lot of people don't have a church that they go to. So they're going different places to try to find the church that's for them. But I think church hopping is the opposite. You have a set home, you know where you're supposed to be. But because, like Chanel said, sometimes you want to break, right? And it looks like church hopping to people, but it's really like, no, I just want to break from the work of service. Or like what Brandon said, sometimes a lot of sensationalism, or people get mad when they get rebuked, and then they're just like, I got to go out the door. And so I believe for myself, church hopping is somebody just jumping from church to church because they have issues with the leadership, issues with the church, and a lot of times it's not the church, it's them.
Mm-hmm.
So you saying basically immaturity, if we want to
Yeah,
boil it down to one word.
yeah, not everybody, but a lot of people that I've seen and know personally who church hop. It's issues within themselves, and you know they they don't realize that it's not them, it's you. Somebody said about Mary J. Blige, like it might be you, Mary. I love Mary J.
Very alone.
But
I
I
think
no, I agree with all of you guys. I think it's all of those things. But also it also can stem to I had it everywhere you go there. No,
there you go.
seriously.
Mhm.
And most times what we're running from in some of these churches that we're running from things, it's in that same church.
Mhm.
Elder Robin tells the same, like she tells the story, like one time she got fed up with the church that she was at and was like, I'm gonna go to another church. And as soon as she got there, she ran into the same issue she was running to when she was at the church that she was trying to leave. So your issues are going to follow you, especially if it's you that's the issue.
Mhm.
But but
For me,
definitely go ahead, Brandon.
I was gonna say, for me, you could consider me, a bit of a street guy. You know what I mean? And you were loyal before you came into the church. You were loyal to something. You had a commitment to something. You understand what I'm saying? So most people you are able to commit to whatever it is that you want to commit to. For me, I'm a bit of a death before dishonor guy, if you want to call it. You know what I mean? And when I say and when I what I mean to say by that is, if you've been with a person or organization or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Apostle always say, go where you grow and bloom where you planted. So when you're not able to grow in a place, when you're not able to bloom in a place, when you become spiritually dead and you're not getting your needs met and fed, then I believe you should be able to, move forward with grace. And that's with anything, with a job, with, you know what I mean, whatever. If you can outgrow, relationships with friends and things like that. And you should be able to move on with grace, you know what I mean, and with honor. So it's not what you do per se, but how you do it. You know what I mean? And you gotta, it's important to examine your motives, why you do what you do, why you there. You know what I mean? All of that stuff. You know what I mean? So I believe it would be a lot less of that going on in the church if if it was all on the table. And it's easier said than done, but it's the communication is the key. It always need to be on the table, clear cut and dry.
Well, we talked about that in our episode last season about how to leave the church the right way. Pastor Rhonda made it like clear. She was like, "There's only 3 people that need to know that you're leaving: is you, the pastor, and the pastor that you're going to." So it's like you said, the communication needs to be there, but and that level of maturity to do that. But I also agree with Chanel with the needing a break thing, because I had to do the same thing when I took a sabbatical. I had to go sit under somebody, like just to get fed, because I didn't want to like not go to church in my sabbatical, but getting fed, because you're always constantly pouring out when you're serving, and you don't necessarily get fed the right way that you're supposed to when you're constantly serving. So sometimes you got to step away. But that's not. I don't even see that as church hopping. I kind of put that under the category of visiting churches, which I encourage people to do. Just because there are better out. It's better out there, but like not to say like you shouldn't be comparing or like judging, but like that what one person says might be brought to you in another way that you might be able to digest better. And it just takes that one word that'll like get you free, low key. Leaders and pastors should not notify the people just as the people receive them. Or should notify the people. No, I totally agree.
Everything got to be done decent and in orderly. It's got to be decent and done decent and in order. Like I said, it's not always what you do, but how you do it. And it's important to examine your motives. Like I said, if you at a place, and like I said, that's what a job. If you working at a job and you just tired of it, and you leave with grace. You put in your termination letter, your resignation letter. This is what I'm gonna do. You don't make a scene. But like I said in one of my earlier statements too, although we in church, it's important to understand too, it's the business of God. So we have leaders and spiritual people, but they're gonna also make the decisions that are right for the organization, or that are best for the organization. So you can't get mad at or whatever. And even if it's not right for the organization, it's still their business, it's still their entity, and they still, they board of directors or whoever put it together still has the right to run the business that they see fit, whether they want to, take it, burn it down, whatever, and wipe their tails with it, whatever. It's still their organization, and you got to respect that, and that's at church, wherever, you know what I mean. And you can't get, like, all right, our illustrious past, Apostle Shireen Lathan, we all know about that time she got up there and snapped, and people was mad at her, you know what I mean, but I understood where she was coming from, you know what I mean? Like I said, we in church, but and we still got to understand we dealing with people too, flawed people, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, she's our pastor, but she's still human, and the people inside of the church, they still human, and we all make mistakes, you know what I mean? So you can't, just point your finger. But yeah, she was, you trying to take over my business, you trying to step on my feet, and I'm a business owner, and I deal with it. So I've dealt with that before, so I can empathize wholeheartedly with running my organization. This is something that I put my money in. I pay the taxes to Uncle. Like I said, it's church, but it's the business. It's church, but it's the business of God. So it's still a business aspect to it. And policies and procedures and things like that have to be adhered to, or should be. It should be people that work on the team. It should be policies and procedures. They teach you that's business 101. Follow this, that, and the other, and your team members should know what's going on. Mm-hmm. But it's rules and regulations to it.
Chanel, sorry, Chanel, you had something to say, right? You were about to say something. Chanel, can you hear me?
I think she's frozen.
She froze. She got the glitch. That's that glitch.
Hey, there she goes. She back.
We back.
Oh, I was like, you guys are gone.
No, we went.
You got the face.
I was gonna say to what Brandon was saying. It's also about your relationship with God, and then it's about trusting God. Because even with like Trump being our president, he was the leader that was put there. You know, I didn't see everybody talking about we leaving America. Didn't nobody leave America because he became president. You know, if you had a good and a real relationship with God, you was praying for the man. You might not agree with what he's saying, what he's doing, but you understand that you got a God who overrides him, you know? And so I feel like it's the same concept with what Brandon was saying. Even though you may have a leader or a preacher or whomever that you don't understand where they're going with their vision, or you don't understand what they're saying, but at the end of the day, you should trust God, you know, and pray for the man, not just up and leave the church, you know? And I feel like a lot of times people just do that. They get offended or they don't understand, so they leave, they run.
I agree, and they disguise that as God said I should leave, you know, and like, you know, like we can't, like you said, if you have a real relationship with God and He tells you to leave, like, and I also agree with what Brenda said earlier. Sometimes you outgrow a church, like some churches are meant to just get you to a certain extent, and then you have to leave. Like that is God's destiny, is for you to go somewhere else that gets you to another level. So some churches they can only take you so far. So, but do you agree that church hopping is like when you have a membership number, but you have another membership, like you collect the membership numbers?
I'm all with it, you know. I go to 12 churches.
A double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways.
Look, I got 14 memberships throughout the United States and the UK, so you know it's all good over here. No, but that's wrong. Yo. Look, you should have one leader, and then there should be people who you may like look to, who pour into you as well. It's kind of like visiting churches. So like, I know where home is, right? Liberty Temple, Chicago, right? And then I know the network churches are home. So if I'm ever nearby or whatever, check them out, right? But there's times where I'll watch, you know, a Michael Todd, a Tim Ross, you know, I'll watch Stephen Furtick. I'll look at different preachers and pastors throughout the country, Nick Duncan in Africa. So I'll look at different people because I just want something different. But I'm focused and I'm stable in where I'm at. I know where home is. I know who my leader is. I know that voice. And I don't just go with anybody else because it's the way. I go with where purpose and destiny is.
That's not church hopping though. I don't, you know, you just like, it's like going to a restaurant and you want a variety of food or something like that. You know what I mean? Just because you like different, you got different tastes. You know what I mean? A different acquired taste. So that's not considered church hopping.
Well, some people consider it church hopping, but I'm just talking about having multiple. Because some people share a lot of church services. It's because the voices. You know, it's a different voice. It's a different thing that they're saying than they might have heard. And some people think that's church hopping. So I like this song. So I'm gonna share it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, but people, like, if we think about the pandemic and how easy technology has made it accessible to become a member of someone's virtual church, you know, so it's like you may have
not a member till they getting money from you. That's when you're a member, when they get money from you.
But then we're also trained to not eat for free.
Yeah, to sow a seed.
See, man, the older I get, I have a business mind. My mind comes from a different, you know, entrepreneurship type, you know what I mean, thing. So I understand, you know, we've been trained to give, but I understand we getting the money too. You know what I'm saying? It's about getting that money. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
But Brandon, if somebody called you to do some work, like say a guy had a job and he called you to sub his job because he couldn't do it, but they paid him instead of you, how would you feel about that?
Wait, say it one more time. Let me make sure I'm wrapping my head around it.
Yeah. There was a guy that had a job and he called you, he couldn't do the job, but because it was his job first and he recommended you as a sub, they paid him instead of you. How would you feel?
All right. There's rules and regulations to it. First and foremost, you dance with the man that brought you to the party. You understand what I'm saying? So even in that industry, there's rules and regulations to it. See, I come from a very, you know, loyal, you know what I'm saying? You don't step on toes. See, where I come from, you get your neck cut, you get killed. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm serious. Disloyalty gets you You know what I'm saying? It can get you in stitches. What? And I have that same mentality with the church. So when I'm saying all that to say, you know what I mean? That happens. I do it all the time. If I bring a person, if you become on my project, I bring you on the project. Hey, I got an agreement with you. Yeah, that's my customer. You don't say nothing to my customer. Let me handle the business and boom. And me and you will handle whatever business that we have. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if you don't get paid, then that's a whole. Then you take that beef up with me. But yeah, we don't roll like that. If a person bring me onto their job and I'm helping them, you can't pay me to say anything to to their customer. It's rule like I said, it's rules and regulations, and it's certain things that you can't pay me to do. You understand what I'm saying? Like money can't buy my self respect. Money can't buy my loyalty. You understand what I'm saying? My loyalty. So forget that ain't enough tea in China to make me do it. Nah. So
There you
there's my
go.
answer to your question.
The
I
most
think
gangster saint.
I think that if somebody is blessing you, right, then and you have the Holy Spirit on the inside of you, you would automatically want to, or you should want to bless them, whether it be in finances, deeds, taking them out to eat, or I don't know, sowing a seed of affirmation. But if somebody's blessing you, I feel like it's only right to want to bless them back. So if a prophet at another church, or even if you go to another church and it's time for the offering, what's $20? I mean,
See, that's only in the black church. See,
no.
these white churches. Listen. Not a, some black churches, yeah. Some of them they got major money, and those are the ones that it's like they just look at the people for the number. You know what I'm saying? But like a lot of these quote unquote smaller tier churches. You know what I mean? Like smaller or medium tier churches, whatever you want to call them, they do not have the finance. They don't have it. They dependent on the tithes, the church, and the offering. Most of the time, if you don't have a pastor or one of those large white congregations or a pastor or a leader who was already doing pretty well already before they came into the church, it's a struggle. Or you ain't got no partners or people that's really seeding into that church like that, it's a struggle. And you can't tell me that it ain't. I ain't no pastor, but I know business. And I understand how it go. It's a struggle, man. I'm telling you. It's a struggle.
Wow.
They ain't got
I can say,
they don't got the finance.
Sowing a seed. We
Huh?
heard about you sowing a seed.
Don't you think people get tired of you asking for seed though?
No, forget the
Don't you get they
But-
tired of it?
But she said without asking.
place like that, you're not waiting for them, or at least I speak for myself. I'm not waiting on them to tell me a dollar amount. I'm not waiting on them to say, oh, I need $100 offering, such and such. I'm already going there with the mindset because of liberty. When I'm going to a church, I'm going with a mindset that I'm going to bless the house because the house is blessed.
I'm not saying come in and be a freeloader or a cheapskate or nothing like that. Don't miss. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, because if you get a service or you get good service, good food, whatever, you're supposed to pay. You're supposed to tip. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about because people will tell you that in a minute, and they always asking for money. I'm not condemning them, or I'm not condemning that practice or condemning those who do it. What I'm saying is it's different places, different, like it's almost like it's like a pimp is, yeah, it's like taxes almost, like Uncle Sam. I believe that taxation is like the coldest hustle in the world, and it's because of people. Just look at the tollway. Look at how many people drive on the Illinois tollway, and they get 25 cents to 75 cents to $1 per person, and there's hundreds of thousands of people that ride the Illinois tollway. You know what I mean? It's a system. You know what I'm saying? It's like almost like I don't even want to call it systematic oppression, but it's a system though. You know what I mean? And I believe partially that's why COVID and God shut some of this stuff down, because the people been getting pimped for too long. You know what I'm saying? That's that. And when I say, I mean, I'm talking about a broad spectrum of people, where the people are just a number. Oh, bring your tag, give us this, do that. That's what I'm talking about.
yeah, I believe in when it comes to sewing. Uh, I see where everybody's coming from, but if you're not giving to your church, then you shouldn't be giving to somebody else. So if you have a place where you're planted and grounded, it's like if you're paying bills in somebody else's house, but you ain't paying your own bill. If that don't make sense. So
Yeah,
you
you're
take care
right.
of your house first. So as long as that's taken care of, I don't think God has an issue with anywhere that you sow into that you're eating from.
Come
You know
on.
what I'm saying? At any point in time. So as long as you're taking care of home first, and we've learned that at Liberty.
Mhm.
Look, don't be out here everywhere else paying tithes, giving offers, but you ain't giving nothing to the church that's paying your bills, that's putting food in your mouth, literally and figuratively. You know what I'm saying? Taking care of you and your needs, and then you go somewhere else and you're just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just stop tithing and give to these people over here.
But that's
True,
what I think.
true
That's where the
story.
tithe come from. Like the tithe is for home. You know what I'm saying? And like that's what takes care of home is the tithe. We hear it all the time when it's offer time. Your tithe takes care of the house.
Hey,
So like
true.
if you're linked, go ahead, Brandon.
I was gonna say true story. True story. Shout out to Apostle Lathan. I love Apostle Lathan. When I was a kid, I'm saying this publicly. When I was a kid, my parents got into some trouble with the house, some type of foreclosure or something like that, but they wasn't able to pay the mortgage. Okay, and and this is one reason why I give. I was taught to give. My father taught me to give. My life is a direct representation of sowing and reaping. It's a principle, whether you believe in Jesus or not. So sowing and reaping, what you put in is what you're gonna get out. Okay. Shout out to Apostle Lake, the true story. My parents had some mortgage trouble and whatnot like that. My dad had sold, had given to people underneath behind the scenes, never getting public recognition for it, and he wasn't supposed to. Giving out his heart. Looked out. They had gotten into some trouble around the range of like $5,000 or something like that. You know what I mean? Apostle Lathan, spiritual lady, said that God had put the family in her spirit. Whatever, they worked it out. Apostle Lathan came, looked out, boom, you know what I'm saying? And my father tell me this story to this day. He said it's because I had seed, you know what I mean? So we got a pastor. If don't nobody else tell you, I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying, on air, you know what I'm saying, our apostle, she come and she look out for those
Yeah.
who, you know what I'm saying, if that's your home, that's your church, that's what you supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? You supposed to give. You use the bathroom, you use it, you turn the lights on. As long as you drink
That's
out the water fountain in the back, you're supposed to put
no.
something on that table.
Those are benefits. Those are benefits of being connected to a house, and
And
that's what we're
being
trying
connected.
to.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what we're trying to determine with the church hopping. Is like,
Yeah.
can you reach those benefits if you're a church hopper?
Listen,
Like,
like I told you, I believe in splitting the Negro head. You did what I'm talking about? Let me give you $5,000. And you what? You gonna what for your mortgage? And you gonna do what? You gonna tell what, man? Like, I love God, but I believe in splitting your head too. Come on, man, that's disloyalty. That's what I'm talking about. I come from where that type of stuff will get your head split. You know what I'm saying? So I
so
don't believe in it.
let me ask you this question, Brandon. Since loyalty is cool, but what if you're no longer being spiritually fed by that church that paid your bills
That's
a
what I
certain
said.
time ago?
That's what
So
I said earlier. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. You can leave in grace. Hey,
yeah.
apostle, I ain't feeling it no more. You know what I'm talking about? You know, I need something else. I need something more. Is it something that we could do here, or do you release me? I'm like, man, come holler at them the right way. Don't be no mark about it. You know what I'm saying? Like being a mark get your head busted too. You just gonna leave, don't say nothing. What? I'm come what? And I'm pretty sure she done been to some places and preached. And she was like, man, he was just in my church a couple weeks ago. I'm willing to bet you if you ask her, she'll tell you, yeah, I'm just man, she was at church last, man, but she human. I'm just saying that's the humanistic side of it, you know what I'm saying? And it's easy to be upset, you know what I'm saying, when you didn't pour out your heart. That's why leaders and pastors be quitting. Man, what? I couldn't be no pastor. Boy, what? The cuss all y'all here.
Man,
Brandon, make
Brandon's
sure you
bringing
at the deliverance service on Friday.
he bringing the gangster tonight. The gangster levels are high with this one, bro.
Look,
Bring the gangster knob down just a hair,
look,
bro.
if you need
Because man, just let
security, call Brandon.
you know what I'm saying? That ain't right, man. You know what I'm saying? Apostle never looked out for a lot of people, man. I've been there since the 80s, since the blue and white days, since 85. I'm 36, and I've been there for 32. You dig what I'm talking about? So I seen Apostle give people Jaguars, buy them houses. You know what I'm talking about? You backstab. You know, what's his name? Maldonado. I'll put it out there. Maldonado, if I see you, I'm busting your head. You know what I'm saying? I'll put it out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm busting in the head. I heard, like some stuff. He really needed a bodyguard. That's what Apostle Pastor Lake. They need some goons, straight up bodyguards.
So,
but really,
I was
Brandon,
that's what it's gonna come to. Though. Wait, because the hood. Wait. When the church open, it's either when the church open back up, watch how many different people gonna come in there. It's gonna be the streets, transvestites, homosexuals. All them. What y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna be sitting there acting scared and stuff? No, it's gonna have to be some real. I don't want to say the N word, but it's gonna have to be some real ninjas up in there who could deal with some real demons and some real people who really got their ear to the street and ain't nothing that fuddy-duddy. You know what I'm talking about? Punks.
Well, I mean, we all know, like, we're under Apostle Lathan, who is the most spiritually gangster person that we know
ever.
So we already know we in good hands.
So as a pastor, whenever you're a pastor, whenever you're in that role of leadership, right? As bad as it is, you have to expect some disloyalty, right? God didn't call you to, be in a place where everything is going to be easy. There are going to have to be people, even people close to you, that will betray you. Jesus went through it, right? So if he's the shepherd, right, the great shepherd, right, then our shepherds are going to have to go through some of that too. It's up to us to, like you said, Brandon, have loyalty. Got they bad. I'm not.
Even Jesus wasn't punk though. See, even Jesus overturned the tables in the temple. He was in there stealing. But Jesus wasn't trying to turn the tables over. So even Jesus wasn't a punk, and he rode with gangsters. The disciples were some gangsters.
They was, but when Peter cut off the ear, Jesus restored the ear, right? So our shepherd always has to be greater than, those who do us wrong. You know what I'm saying? So it's up to them. Brandon making people scared.
Like that's what I'm saying, Brandon. You gotta bring your gangster knob down just a little bit, bro.
I get what you said, Brandon. I'm all for loyalty, man. I'm with you too, but
it need to be said. That's all. You need to be said. Listen. I take the heat. I'm a man. I'm a dope. I stand behind my statements and what I say. So this don't have nothing to do with the views. Liberty Temple, Sister Don. None of them. This, you know what I'm saying? I stand behind what I said.
Oh,
right.
You know
don't come looking for me. I mean,
I said it.
At all. No, I mean,
to Brandon's point,
right.
when Apostle passed away, I noticed a lot of disloyalty. Like a lot.
They've been disloyal.
People leaving and then coming back, leaving and then coming back, So, and in my mind, I'm thinking if Apostle was alive, y'all wouldn't be doing this foolishness. Y'all wouldn't be doing all this stuff.
He always said, take the high road. That was his Apostle. You say that you take the high road. So, that was his mantra. Take the high road. He who laughs last laughs the best. I remember he used to tell me that. That's his mantra. You know what I'm saying? But dang, how many more cheeks can I take? Turn though. You gonna try to steal my business? I'm trying to
7 times 7, right?
Man, come on, man. Really say what it is. You know what I'm saying? Let's deal with. If we're gonna talk about, let's talk about the real issue. You know what I'm saying? Not sugarcoat it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, we gonna, but not sugarcoat, but we gonna keep it on topic though. Let's get back to church hopping. Brandon,
that's our part of it. We talking the same conversation.
Really quick before we jump back on, Exodus 14 and 13 and 14 talks about some battles we don't have to fight, right? So we just leave it up to God. He'll take care of everything. Like, even though we want to, like Brandon do. There's people I want to punch in the head at church,
But it ain't our battles to fight. And
I'm not saying
it's not our battles to fight too, though. Like, we have to realize that.
I'm not saying fight every battle. Yeah, of course. You pick your battles. Look, that's what Joe said. You can't teach loyalty. That's why I'm so fired up about it. You can't teach that. It's either in you or you ain't. You know what I'm talking about? You can't teach that.
Yeah.
True, but if you are not called to teach that loyalty, then that person gonna keep doing the same thing over and over again until they find it.
You also ain't called to be no doormat either. You also ain't called to be no damn fool. You know what I'm saying? You ain't called to be a damn fool either. Yeah. So what's up? We're fine tonight.
But
you're right.
It's almost 8 o'clock, man. What's up?
Right.
We'll finish this up. It's almost
Right.
Knock this out real quick. No, you are perfect. You are right, Brandon. You got to be loyal. You can't be a punk at all. I'm just saying it from a perspective that some fights you don't need to fight. We just let God take care of, because He's going to restore everything that we lost from people, from things, whatever.
Don't just make you so mad sometimes.
What makes me mad?
like that verse that say, God, when you gonna extend your hand to justice? I'm tired of seeing my brother's blood out in the street. I'm tired of seeing Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. I'm tired of seeing these police officers shoot us in the back. You know what I'm talking about? It's real, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, I'm in the streets every day, bro. Every day I'm in these streets. I'm talking
I'm
about
out
every
there
day.
with you, Brandon. Like
You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
out there with you, but like let's like cool. Back to the topic. Like not to this like we're not diminishing anything you said, Brandon. We just gonna keep it on topic.
We are on
Um,
topic. I told you we having the same conversation. But
yeah,
again,
but now we in Trayvon Martin. Like we are
we
now
having
we
the
in
same
political
conversation.
justice.
Church
Like
hopping. We talking about
Brandon about to
church
inspire
hopping.
you. About, you
That's
about to,
all. It all falling together. Church hopping, disloyalty, being a chump. All that. It all going the same. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about being a chump. You know what I'm saying? Physically, I'm talking about your motives. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. What you doing? That's what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about you just a physical chump. I'm talking about being a chump that can't nobody say nothing to you. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking
I get
about.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but you're giving off real head busting vibes right now. We ain't trying to like encourage that. We got enough head busting in the streets already.
Alexa, play Duck in the Buck.
That's the problem. That's the problem. We ain't bust enough heads. If you bust a couple heads, you won't have that problem. I told
Alright.
you, even Jesus, listen, man, them punks was in there. This biblical. I'm preaching the word here. Them punks was in there in the church. Jesus called them a brood of vipers. They was stealing, taking. That's what be going on. It's the same. I'm having the same conversation. They was in there stealing. Jesus walk up in the place like, what? What y'all doing? He turned the tables over and he kicked them all out the church. That's what he did. Read it. It's in the Bible. I ain't saying it on fact.
Brandon, I live by that scripture. Like when I gotta slap a person, that's the scripture that I justify slapping them with. Like,
man, turn me off. I'll holler at y'all, man.
Like I have a whole glove that have that scripture on it when I'm about to slap somebody. Like, trust me, I get it. I live by that scripture. Like when I gotta choke somebody out, I'm choking them out in the name of Jesus with that scripture. So
it's in love. It's in love. It's all in love.
It's all love. We still gotta walk in love. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, Jesus ain't call us to be no fools neither. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Some things gotta be said, the uncomfortable things. You know what I'm saying? The conversation gotta be had. You know, so that was my feelings about it. Like I said, I stand by my views. It's 8 o'clock.
That was a lot of feelings. They was very long feelings, and we appreciate everything that you said.
Got some views tonight because we turned.
We appreciate everything you said, Brandon. We got all of the picture. So let's get back into it. So, do you think church hopping is a generational thing? Is that like because
if your daddy was a chump and your mama was a chump and they raised you to be a chump and you just come with chumps, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. It's a generational chump. You know what I'm saying? For real. And then they teach it to you. Look at how I'm serious. Look at it. Think about it.
All right. Well, Brandon, we got your view on it. Chanel, what do you think?
I think it can be. I don't think that it's 100% generational, but I think it can be. Like when I was asking my kids about, church hopping, they were saying, I'm never leaving my church. It just feels uncomfortable going to another church. Like, and my husband and I have been at that church for a very long time throughout the church splits and the Maldonados and everybody coming and going and, thinking they could come to Orlando and it's going to be sweet. And it wasn't what they thought. And they left again, so throughout all of that, we stayed, and I think we've kind of created that mindset for our children that no matter how tough it gets, no matter who leaves or no matter whatever, that we are invested in God's vision for this church. Doesn't mean that we can't go visit other churches, like when I need a break, or if this one has a stronger youth program or something, and I send my kids there on a Wednesday afternoon or something like that. Doesn't mean that we can't do that, but we know where home is. We're fully invested in home.
And you also got the type of husband too. It's important that leadership, bro. Your husband. He come from some of the same background that I have. I believe he instilled that loyalty and that, some of the same values that I hold. I believe he hold that too, and he as past that goes to my point again. Is church hopping generational? Oh, well, your husband ain't no generational, Mark, so he ain't teach you how to be generational. You know what I'm talking about? So y'all down, 10 toes down. Next question, Spank.
My dad ain't no generational boss either, fam.
Hey, and low key, I think it's because Joe is on here and y'all gangster energy is like
Well,
multiplying so hard right now.
tonight.
They said it's
Y'all
Turn
there's
up.
to
no
turn the
distance
gangster
in the
way too much.
spirit. There's no distance in the spirit, so the gangster spirit is on here tonight. I think it's sometimes I think it's loyalty. Sometimes I don't think it's generational because some people I know their parents have been in church, the same church for ever, but they just jump from place to place to place. And sometimes it has to do with loyalty, but other times it has to do with stability. Some people can actually stand stability. They just can't sit still. It's something in them that they have to deal with that won't allow them.
They got ADD.
Yep.
But it could be that, or they're just like I can't just
And
sit
some
in the
people
place
just
too
know.
long.
It just knows. It just can't mind their own daggone business. They gotta be knowing on what's going on.
Every church.
Gotta be knowing on what's going on in Sister Brenda church and knowing on when the brother Dexter. That's
Well,
so some people just nosy.
let's let people finish out their statement before we speak, bro. Let's keep it civil, bro. Let's keep it civil.
All I'm saying is that sometimes that we well, point, but a lot of people are unstable because of things that's happened in life, and it shows when they go get into churches too. They may be overlooked for a position that they thought they should have been in, and then they're like, "Oh, I gotta go to this other church," because I should have been ordained a pastor this year, but I wasn't ordained a pastor. But we've seen people who have been quote unquote skipped over, and they sat in humility, right? And because it wasn't their time yet. So some people have a bunch of issues, and that's where they church hop. I'll let you answer this question too. Then I have a question about church hopping.
Well, I mean, I it could be generational just because a lot of our generation have not been able to sit under people that have that instilled in them.
Mm-hmm.
If we look at it, we're looking at a generation that is an instant gratification type of generation. So if they're not getting what they feel like they need right away, they're going to go try and find it.
Yep.
So like that's what it's not necessarily something we have to deal with. It's something that they have to deal with because eventually they're going to find what they're looking for. And hopefully it's the right place that God has them to be. Because some people talk good, but it ain't necessarily what's meant for you to have. So, that's what I'm saying. Is like, let's make sure if it is generational, that they are making decisions based on the spirit and what's best for them spiritually versus what looks good to them or if they following somebody. Because we've had people church hop because they looking, for somebody, and and I know as a musician, we sometimes because of our nature of our job, we have multiple church memberships because we from one church and we go play at another church and we go play at another church. Like Sunday could be 10 churches at one time.
Just a covenant brother. That's all. Covenant brother.
Yeah, basically. But like some people see that and they think they can do it too because like if you just an usher, you can't do the same thing like a musician can do. You know what I'm saying? Like your services are not necessarily needed in other churches. Like
you're for hire though. Usher is a volunteer position.
Exactly.
Talent.
But I'm saying people don't know the business. Like you said, there's business that goes on behind the scene that people are unaware of, and they see things and they be like, "Oh, I could do that too because I see this person doing it. I see this person doing it." But it's like you don't know. One, you don't know the agreement that they have with God. Like that's a relationship. That's a relationship and a relationship type of conversation that you got to have with you and God. Like you got to know, I'm here just to provide a service versus I'm here to get fed or I'm here to get something from this. So it's like I've played for churches where I was just there to conduct business. Like they needed a drummer, they hired me for this time limit, and that's what I did.
But see, then the scripture say you work for man like you work unto God. You understand what I'm saying? So again, you have to examine your motives. You know what I mean? So although you're getting paid, you're going in with your gift, and then you're sowing your gift from your heart, and you're sowing it with good intent, with pure intent. You're pouring into pure soil. You understand what I'm saying? So that your seed can grow, and that's what makes you a covenant brother. You understand what I'm saying? The covenant meaning oh man, I don't got to go to your church, but if you call me and you need me, I'm gonna be there for you. Or if or I'm gonna work it out. Right? And you understand what I'm saying? So people don't
Yeah,
understand. That's what we
that's purpose.
yeah,
When you
church.
know your purpose,
Mm-hmm.
when you know your purpose, that makes that easy. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I am in this earth realm to provide this service to this type of people. So like, I mean, that's what I'm not necessarily helping out the big mega churches because they have their thing, but like for smaller churches that don't necessarily have the budget to pay, this certain amount of number, then like I don't mind giving like my $1,000 services to a church that's only going to pay me $100. You know what I'm saying? But that's something that I had to have a conversation with God about because I don't do that for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah,
I have to pray about all those
you gotta
things.
use discernment. Yeah. I told
Yeah.
you, fool. God didn't call you to be a damn fool and be a doormat. Or I'm gonna go work for you for 8 hours for $100 and play at your service, and you made $100,000. Oh yeah,
Right, yeah.
like don't be no fool.
Yeah,
I
no.
ain't saying that.
But I'm not out here trying to pimp churches either. I'm not like asking the questions of how many people do you expect on this Sunday? How many seats does your church hold to determine my pay? I'm not doing that. Like,
if you have a rate,
Y'all don't do that.
rate is what your rate is. You know what I mean? And then if you decide to take because they say you can't put a number, and that's what I was getting at by prostituting the people and prostituting. That's perfect that you said that. That was along the lines of what I meant. You know what I'm saying? Because you have all these different people who are coming. It's still the business, like we said, and then you have all these different people who come in and charge this money, and charge that. And this is a gift that God has given you to bless the people. So.
like when someone texted me like, "Hey, can you do this service?" I tell them what my normal price is usually, and if they can't do it, or if like God tells me like, "Hey, they don't have the budget for it," then we'll negotiate a price. But like, I start with my number because that's business. You know what your service is. You know what you deserve. A servant is worth is higher. So it's like what your price is, but like you got to use, like you said, discernment. But people see that and they just see, like, they make that seem like, hey, maybe because he's doing it, I can go to this church and do, I could work what I do. You know what I'm saying? If you can't be a catcher everywhere.
I don't want to be catching anybody.
Sorry, go ahead, Chanel.
You had said something powerful. You said purpose. And I feel like a lot of times we as believers, sometimes we don't know our own purpose, that we don't know our purpose in our church. And it's like the same in a marriage. If you don't have a purpose for your marriage, then when anything comes, it can allow you to separate, if that makes sense. That's what Sister Darling used to always say. You need to have a purpose for your marriage. It needs to be outside of the whole, I love you, I love you. What is your purpose? What is God's purpose for your marriage? And so we don't have purpose for ourselves. If we don't have purpose for our position in the church or for our church, it's easy for somebody to offend us and we just leave. We just think we're going to find our purpose in the next church, but we find our purpose in God. We don't find our purpose technically like from the church. We find it through God. Now it's through the church can help us strengthen our relationship with God, but it's not good to put that pressure on the church. That's why you're church hopping, because I'm trying to find my purpose. No, if you sit quiet with God, maybe you'll find your purpose. So
and
shout out to
think your purpose.
He used to teach us when the purpose was not known, abuse is inevitable. Shout out to Daryl Shaver's Theology, Liberty Academy. Shout out to Liberty Academy.
But no, that's good, Chanel. Like, for real, that like Joseph said, that those are gems. You know what I'm saying? Dropping gems. But like, I totally agree, and I think like in the church that you discover God is where you kind of find your purpose. Low key, sometimes. Sometimes like you might just be in the right place at the right time, and it's like God just catches your heart and you get saved right then and there. But that's your journey. Like, some people, everybody's journey is not the same in Christ. Some people get saved like in passing. They might have been like, like when people, like when Apostle Turner was on TV back in the day, and they said the sinner's prayer. You might have said the sinner's prayer after watching The Awakening and got saved, but then like, maybe you wasn't in a place where you saw, you couldn't go to Chicago church. You couldn't go to Liberty Temple, Chicago. So you have to find a church home. That's your journey. Now you got to find where you're going to get fed at and grow spiritually, and then find your purpose in that. Yeah. But some people, go ahead, Sam.
No, go ahead, finish.
And I was just saying, like, your purpose is sometimes tied to where you are birthed at. And, and like I said, sometimes where you birthed at is not where you're going to stay. You got to find, and that's where your purpose drives you into growing. Like you have to
go where you're growing, bloom where you planting, brother.
Yeah,
right.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. You pretty much said what I was about to say. Sometimes your purpose is birthed in one place, but that's right. That's not where you're meant to stay at. We go to Liberty, so we know we go to a training ground. So like when I finally settled it in my spirit that this is a training area that people are going to leave the right way and the wrong way, that I became okay with seeing a revolving door, so to speak, of people, because they're there to get trained and then go off into their purpose. And I think when people understand that about a lot of churches, then they'll have a better understanding of why they're at a church for a particular season, and then why God calls them away. Because once again, not everybody's a church hopper. Some people are just like, okay, this is my time to be here. I learned what I need to learn here. I'm still family, and I'm gonna go about to the next thing. I ain't talking about starting a new church or anything like that.
To them wives when I'm being left the church. Talk to them. Straight up, I see him at the grocery store, man. I will, but I told you, I'm you know what I'm saying, I'm from the street. I'm a little gang back, so I'm blue, you know what I'm saying? Come to the house, you know what I'm saying? Nah, you know what I'm saying, we blue over here. You know what I'm saying?
But it also, but I think like also as a training ground, like you said, some people leave on good ways, somebody leaves on bad terms. But there's a lesson to be learned in all of those ways that people leave, and that is training still, and that is the direction. Leaving the wrong way and getting your butt kicked is going to teach you a bigger lesson sometimes than staying in one place and dying. You know what I'm saying? So I say like let them leave if they want to leave. Let them leave. Just make sure talk to God on how to leave, but also with church hopping too, the people that sometimes us as patrons in the church can be tools used in like people church hopping. So like, for instance, like I am over media, and if I see somebody that ain't been there in a minute, I'm not checking on them, like that's where I failed. Because I didn't, as a leader of that department, man, I didn't check on you.
You a grown man, dog. You get mad because nobody check on you, man. We grown, man. We come on. I yeah. Okay, if you check on them, cool. We adults, man. Who the hell call check on what? Made me what? I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about the person who want to check on.
I get it, but I'm saying, but like they some people feel love that way, and they feel a sense of belonging because, like, low key, that's why we join churches, because there's a longing for belonging.
That's why we join gangs, because it's a long for but church ain't nothing but a gang. That's all it is. I ain't lying. We straight gang. We set tripping when you get mad. It's all it is. Because look at it. Jesus is the chief. God is the general. You know what I'm saying? Jesus is the chief. The Bible is the law. When you disrespect the law, you're in violation. You did what I'm talking about. So yeah, it ain't nothing but a gang. Church. That's why it's the same concept. It's the same concept.
I'm gonna take your word for it, Brandon, because I don't deal with gangs, but like low key,
he with the gang too. Pastor Layton, the chief down here. Sister Darling, like the lieutenant, the gov.
I don't know what you're talking about, Brandon. I've been enrolled in. I was enrolled in DARE all throughout junior high, so I don't mess with gangs or drugs. I don't know what you're talking about.
The DARE program was a lie, by the way. Everybody who was in DARE did drugs.
On the spiritual level, wait, no, in all seriousness, so on the spiritual level, it is a big set trip. It's a big set trip between good and evil, between right and wrong, between God and the devil. So yeah, at the end of the day, that's all. It's a big set trip. You know what I'm saying? God is the man at the end of the day. We know that because the Bible tells us that we're victorious. But yeah, come on, what side you on? Choose you this day who you gonna serve. I give you blessings and I give you curses. It's the law. You know what I'm saying?
That's why we look. Well, we look at it as armies and stuff. We look at it very military. You look at it as very gangster. Like however way, it's the same structure. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same structure.
Basically different words. That's all.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like if you look at it as gangster, Brand, that's how
you gang banging. When you go to church, whenever you go to church, you gang bang. We against the Jehovah's Witnesses and Seventh-day Adventists, Nation of Islam, all of them. I'm serious.
I'm not against anybody, I just don't agree with what they, believe it. I respect that they have
It's
belief.
gang banging.
I'm not fighting them.
That's why it's gang. That's why it's a set trip, because you believe a set of rules, and you're with the gang that believes this. It just so happened that you with the Christ gang, the Jesus gang. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, we set trip. You gang banging when you pray. Who you praying? Which side you praying with? With Jesus.
All right, Brandon, we need to make a shirt.
You know what I'm saying?
We don't get the set trip.
Go work in the morning. I love it.
We gonna put you on the lines, bro. All the borders, all the games. That's where your church location is gonna be.
Put them on there. You know what we need. I'm telling you, why? I just gonna come a day. Mark my word, it's gonna come a day. When all them, watch Larry Hoover gonna watch. If Larry Hoover live, if Jesus don't tell you, Larry Hoover gonna be in church. You know what I'm talking about? If they ever live Jeff Ford out, Jeff Ford gonna be in there. You know what I'm saying? Watch, it's gonna come a day. Watch. That's what I'm telling you.
I mean, it's like when you got Louis Farrakhan. Like now he's professing Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? Like it happens.
Little Farrakhan. You know what I'm saying? Now he's that you got to. You know what I'm saying? You got to discern. He doing that. You know, we still gang banging here. We're still gang banging. Art of war. Learn what you need. You know, the art of war. You gonna learn what you need to learn. Man,
Brandon, you definitely. I totally agree with that statement right there. We gonna throw Brandon in the prison ministry. Low key, bro. Gonna be on the other side of the prison. We ain't gonna put you in prison. Like as long as they busting no heads.
They mess around, keep me in there. See, I've been starting to ride.
You done bust hands for Apostle Lathan. Now you stuck in jail. You happy starting your jail ministry for real.
All the time Apostle Lathan kept me out of jail. I got another testimony. There were people trying to lock me up. She told people don't press charges. I ain't get no case. No none of that. You know what I'm saying? I've been sitting in jail. True story, and I gotta go. One time I got locked up a long time ago. I never been to prison. I've been to lock up. I never been to Cook County jail, but I've been locked up. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Anyway, though. I was in this lockup, Rosen, I believe it was, and they was locking me up and checking me in the process. So the dude who was doing the processing was like a pastor or something like that in Roseland. And I was telling him, I was trying to use the church thing. Like, man, I ain't supposed to be here. I go to church. You know what I'm saying? I ain't supposed to be here. He's like, man, what church you go to? I was like, I go to Liberty Temple. Man, why did I say that? The mob got mad. Apostle Turner had fake. I'm talking about in jail. In Roseland, the man got mad, man. I'm talking about threw me in the lockup and the whole day because he was. But I'm saying that to say that shows how, you know what I'm saying, cutting edge our church was, how much impact, you know what I'm saying, Apostle Turner, them people like that had, you know what I mean, for me to even be in a situation, you know what I'm talking about, just, you know what I'm saying, caught up on a little small weed charge, you know what I'm saying, in the again process, and I dropped Liberty Temple, and then the CEO get mad and want to throw me in the lockup. That's a true story. I love y'all. Y'all clicking me out. Peace out. I'm going to work tomorrow.
All right.
Love y'all. Salute.
I love you, Brandon. Thanks for joining us tonight. All right.
Man, we've reached our D word quota for the night too.
Yeah. We made it for the season. I don't think we reached it last season, so we have to make up for it.
I mean, I think last season we only said hell, but like I think we've reached a new level this season.
Brandon will meet every time.
But we love him. That's our gangster brother, and we know he gonna ride. Hopefully, not die for us. Like we don't want him to die. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Brandon is the epitome of loyalty. So I appreciate Brandon.
Facts.
And all his loyalty.
But
Brandon should start a death row ministry.
He is definitely the Suge Knight of the gospel right now. Like, if you want to pray and you don't want your pastor all up in your prayer,
oh my God.
We love him.
I had a question though. What are some of the benefits and drawbacks regarding church hopping?
Chanel, you can start this one.
I would say the benefit, like for somebody like me, a benefit would be I get a break, and I get poured into, right? You said benefit, and what was the other term?
Drawback.
I would say a drawback could be, or what I've experienced is sometimes I go to another church and I'm like, whoo, I'm so lucky to be at Liberty because the way they do things here, Like, I mean, their setup, the non-excellent vibe, because we're all about excellence, and the love, we're all about love and greeting our visitors. And sometimes you be a visitor or going to a church and nobody even says hi. Everybody's looking at you like you crazy. At least back home at Liberty, the freedom that I have, like the freedom to, like, because I'm tatted up, so if I have on a shirt that shows a few of my tattoos, nobody in Liberty's looking at me. We're in Florida, we're in Orlando, but if I go to another church, sometimes they looking like, girl, you need to cover that up right there. So the freedom that we have, and also the edifying word that comes across the pulpit. Sometimes in other churches, it's not the same magnitude. It's not the same strength. It's not, I don't want to say the same Holy Spirit, but it's just not the same. Mm-hmm. So that's some drawbacks I would say that I have experienced from visiting other churches.
Strange fire, Chanel. Yeah, so it ain't the same. It's strange fire.
Well, I'm with Chanel. The break is definitely refreshing. Yeah. That could be the benefit and the drawback, because people get so enamored with the break that they end up staying and like falling out of the purpose, because like, oh man, this is easier, and not necessarily everything's supposed to be easier. Like it ain't all supposed to be easy, but some of the other benefits, like Chanel said, I try to visit places that I know are on a similar or more spirit of excellence in the realm that I'm coming from. So I look at places that have their technical stuff together, so that I don't have to concentrate on it. Because when I go to a church that don't have all their stuff together, like I'm trying to fix issues, and like I'm like, no, hey, have you thought of doing it this way? I'm like, now I'm working at another church. I'm out of my grace. So like that's I have to watch out for that. But some of the drawbacks, like you said, getting trapped in the enamorment of something new and something fresh. I think a lot of people have gone to a lot of churches like because it's the new fad. It's and they get trapped in that fad because all their friends are there, and now they have people accountable for keeping them in a place where they're not destined to be. Yeah. And we have to watch out for that. So that's let's read this one. Drawback to the church hopping is not allowing yourself an opportunity to mature through whatever you go through. You start running away from the process. We mentioned that earlier, Elder Harrell, where it's just like it's a maturity thing. A lot of the stuff that we go through is to mature us and grow us. Growing is not a painless issue. Like growing pains is a real thing. Mm-hmm. And it takes a little pain to grow. And some people just I know of some people that feel like I don't have to take this, because church is a voluntary thing, but like it's necessary in your walk. It's like being in a relationship. You're gonna go through some fights. You're gonna get your feelings hurt sometimes, but you ain't gonna leave that person. Well, some people do, but if you really love that person, like if you really love God, you're gonna stick it out, because if that's where we're supposed to be. Yeah. So that's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, and I think we made a clear-cut distinction between what we think church hopping is and church visiting. So I don't know if anybody's watching who thinks it's the same thing, but church visiting is us going to different churches to visit, to just hear another word, to get a break from working at our church. Church hopping is you're not being stable. So 1 week you're at one church as a member, the next week you're at another church as a member. So you got 10,001 membership numbers throughout the country, and when it's time to get all your tax paperwork, you got 1,000,001 emails or letters coming in the mail from St. Baptist this, from First Episcopal Church of here. A couple of y'all, I think I saw y'all on some of those commercials for the Mormons, around Christmas time. What is it, the Latter-day Saints? Y'all some Latter-day Saints, so y'all just be everywhere, hopping churches. One of the benefits, I think, for church hopping or visiting, is like Specky and Chanel said, you get a break. If you work in ministry in any capacity as a volunteer or paid staff member, it's a job, and so you're working, and God He's constantly going to make sure that you're taken care of, because you are handling and taking care of His house. But one of the things is you want to break sometimes. and you want to sit down. And I think we have a really good at Liberty where our leaders are like, you know, you don't have to necessarily go to another church to sit down. You can sit down and take a break here. It is okay. And they tell you, sit down. Apostle Lathan will quickly tell you, if you're tired, sit down.
But people don't that, and I just want to kind of throw this out there. We can't necessarily do it off of the people that's sitting in the pews next to us, like because they're also in the same position you are. They're your peers. There's no one greater than you. You're all sitting under the same leader, so you can't base your walk off the person that's sitting next to you. You know what I'm saying? So like we got to watch out for that because those people will condemn you and put you in bondage quicker than they can help you. So, you know, like if you feel like you need to sit down, but you're concerned about what sister so-and-so think or brother so-and-so think, you know, like get off of that. Like sit your tail down and get fed, get rebuilt. You know what I'm saying? And if you feel like you can't, like when I took a sabbatical, I chose not to take my sabbatical in my church because I'm not a person that can just sit down and let, you know, things not go. Like and it's like, I know for me to be able to concentrate, I have to go somewhere that is in a place where I don't have to concentrate on working. So like the music got to be right. The media team got to be on point. Like for me to be able to concentrate on the word fully. Cause like I've been grieved to word points where I had like, I didn't make it past praise and worship and I had to leave. It's like, this is not where I need to be this Sunday. I'm over here like that's not how that goes. That person's not doing it. I'm like I start critiquing versus like getting ministered to. And that's
And go. I believe like if you're going to visit other churches, going to sabbatical, and you visit other churches, you know, this is my belief. Visit people who are in covenant with your leaders too. So you're not just going to any and everybody and coming back with some wild ideas or wild, you know. If you would have went to a particular church back in the 90s who was leading, this pastor leading a great revival, I won't say his name, but then he got off into some weird stuff. And so it's like 1 week he was really on point with stuff, and then the next week he was like, oh, well, you know, hell ain't really real. It's like,
you know, there's no heaven or hell. I know exactly
it's like, bro, what you talking about? Now, if you go to his church and you like, the leaders was like, don't go to that church because they talk about some wild stuff over there. You go to that church and then you get off track. I would suggest just going places where the word is similar, where there's covenant, and you have the leaders at those other places that can pour to you just as well as your leaders can, and that you know that you're getting the right word. Because your leaders will tell you, like, hey, if I want to go anywhere in the country, I can say, hey, Apostle, I'm going to Wichita, Kansas. Who's there that I can go to for a service? And, oh, well, Pastor, Apostle, so-and-so is there. You know, go check out their service. You know what I'm saying? And we have that.
But I was gonna say, can we put up Cherish's comment? But let's talk. She said it's okay to leave now as an adult. When I was younger, it seemed to be something that was frowned upon, but there are greater benefits. But the best of all is exploration of who and where God is. And we said that like it's cool to leave, but just make sure you do it the right way, Cherish. Like there's a lot of people that do that and don't leave the right way. And there's a stigma that happens with like that's a relational thing with God. You know what I'm saying? Like he can tell, like he'll tell you that you ain't lead the right way, and you'll get your butt kicked. So you think you can be in the right way, you think you're in the right place, but you're getting your butt spiritually kicked. You know, we don't have to church hop if your focus is having a relationship with God at home. Instead of focusing on the relationship with Him at church, God will straighten issues out for you in the private, secret places.
Yeah,
totally agree, Elder Harrell. But we're talking to the people who are not in that place or feel like, you know, it's like that saying that the mom from Everybody Hates Chris would say, I ain't got to take this. My husband got 2 jobs.
2 jobs.
I ain't got to take this. My God got 1,001. He got 1 million churches. I ain't got to take this from you.
Right.
Actually, you do. That's where you're supposed to take it from, not anywhere else.
So those are the people that we're trying to reach with this one, Elder Harrell. Like you're talking about spiritually mature people that understand like you got a warfare to get where you need to get to. So, you know, but do you think the result of like, for instance, like, I don't know if y'all have this down in Orlando, Chanel, but like in Chicago, we got like 50 million churches on the same block. you know, and like, is that a result of church hopping, or is that a result of, you know, because I can see that one making it easy for someone to church hop. They could literally just walk next door and go to another church.
So where we were before, yes, it was like a community of churches, literally. But if I was to church hop, or I should say, from what I've seen from people in Orlando who came and left, they didn't go to any of those churches. They wanted to start their own church or whatever.
No, and that's honestly that's why we have the issue that we have here in Chicago, where if you can literally throw a stone and hit like 5 churches with the same stone.
Well,
Like,
almost everywhere in Chicago. It's only it is just no knocking just our people, but it's only in our neighborhoods. South and West Side, you're gonna see a bunch of churches right next to each other. And you're gonna see it in predominantly African
I don't know,
American
bro.
community. I'm
like-
telling you, man, it's not
And
a lot of churches where I live at. And
I
you
lived in
got a few
Naperville, bro.
Catholic churches. Oh well, yeah, that's different.
I lived in
Yeah.
Naperville.
But y'all got some of Oz out there too. They like great.
But like you got a Lutheran church right here, but like it may be more spaced apart. It ain't not necessarily next door, but it's on the
It's
same
down the
side.
road.
And it may be like surrounded. It may be divided by a field of grass, but it's still another church on the same block.
That's real. That's real. But I think a lot of people in our community have the crabs in a barrel mentality, and so when they can't reach the top in their church or wherever they're being fed at, they're just like, I'm gonna just go start my own, and not realizing like you could have possibly been called to start a church, but this wasn't when you were supposed to start it. You were supposed to get like you. People think, oh, because I started a church and I was under this church, that I automatically be under them. No, you can go your own way, but just get released out of the house and you'll be good. I saw last week 2 churches in Baltimore, the DMV area, came together. I think it was I-5 Church and I believe Destiny Church. 2 senior pastors. They said the church is like 20 minutes away. Really growing churches, progressive, and they decided to come together and create one church. So now people at the DMV have one less church to hop to because now they're one. But they made the decision to say, hey, this is going to work for us and it's going to help grow the kingdom. And then a lot of people who may have church hop from one church to the other are now like, oh, well, I get to finally go to these services with this pastor now and my regular pastor. And I don't have to just go from place to place and have a membership at 30 different churches. Now I can have a membership at 29 churches because 2 of these churches combined.
My membership number has been combined. Just put both my numbers together. Now it's one number.
Just smack them together.
But Chanel, thank you. We have some. We want to close it out. So whatever your final thoughts is.
I was gonna say it's also too about walking in humility. You know, like because when I first became part of Liberty, I was there for maybe like 2 years, I would say, and I was serving and going to convocation. And so the first convocation, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get ordained. It didn't happen, so I was upset, you know. And then this is new for me coming into the kingdom. I'm like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. Like, am I not? Second year came around, still didn't get ordained, and I was pissed. I was like, okay, so I'm just doing all this for what? I'm not gonna get no recognition, no nothing. But little did I know, I needed to learn to walk in humility, you know, that it's not about title. And I was title driven. Of course, coming from the world to the kingdom, the world is title driven. So you get title driven. And so I think that's something that a lot of people coming from the world have to get like dusted off them, you know, trying to be title driven, because otherwise you're going to continue to hop from church to church. And if you have a spiritual leader who has a real relationship with God, they're going to see that entitlement on you, and you're not going to get ordained. You're not going to get the ministry. You're not going to get whatever it is that you think you want, because you still have some growing to do. So that's my personal experience.
Your personal experience was opposite of mine. I was running from a title.
Yeah.
It's like we gonna make you a deacon. I was like, are you sure? Like,
you got the wrong name, fam. It's the wrong one.
I gotta go pray on that one. But then, like, that's every title that I've received, I've definitely was not looking for. It just was bestowed upon me, and I was like, okay, because I was already doing a job, but it was just like I didn't need the title, and I was happy doing the job without the title. I'm still happy to this day doing the job, and I don't need the title.
Yes,
You know,
I
so
don't want titles either.
well, Sam get his title just because like people just be encountering it. They made him the youth, inaugural youth pastor.
Pastor Sam.
Pastor Sam.
I am Deacon Samuel Anthony. I won't say my middle initial because it's another Bible name, but y'all can figure it out. Let's take a bet.
Isaiah. Israel.
Isaiah. There we go. I was gonna poll the fans, the crowd, but I'm perfectly fine with where I want to be at my title until God says otherwise. Then I have to go wherever He tells me to go. I'm not taking on anything. You feel me? It's hard enough being a deacon. You talk about something.
Hello.
It sounded good, right, Chanel, when you was chasing it? But then
when you got it.
First you're elect.
Right. That's the inaugural level. That's like the level between levels. Like you elect. So there's demons and attacks in that level that you got to fight on that level. And then when you become a full-fledged deacon, you're like, oh my God.
That's when Brandon comes and bust you in the head.
Brandon's the big boss of deacon level. But no, let's wrap this up. Any final thoughts, Chanel? Final thoughts?
Well, I just want to encourage anybody, if you are church hopping, out there, really just take some time and really talk to God and work on your relationship with God, because before you can have a real relationship with your church or with a church, you need to strengthen that relationship with God, and He'll direct you. He'll speak to you. May not be what you want to hear, but just work on that relationship.
Sam?
That's it. Yeah. Well, sometimes we leave because we are offended, and a lot of times, a lot of things people get offended about are just issues within themselves, and because the truth comes out. Like I said earlier, Apostle Lathan cut us up, and then she stitched us up at the end. So it's like that sometimes, and you just gotta know where you're supposed to be at. You'll stay.
Joe, cut it out. This is a family show. Family show.
My man, Joe. Hey, what? Can we get Joe to do some marriage ministry classes somewhere? Can we get the Collins somewhere? I need Joe.
Joe, give us that gangster and then that gangster love real quick.
Right? Turn it right around.
Got that thug in love. I'm sorry. Too much.
Too much boondocks.
Too much boondocks, bro. But no, I totally agree. Like, if you church hopping, bottom line, sit your butt down and lock yourself in and just make sure God is sending you to that next location that you're trying to go to. Don't do it because of offense. Don't do it because of itchy palms. Because some people just can't sit still, and it's like that. You gotta. I'm one that's totally against monotony. Like I can't stand monotony. But God is not a monotonous guy. He will meet you where you are. You just got to sit there long enough to get seen to catch it. It's like one thing I learned, especially this week. If you call your Uber and you ain't in the place where your Uber is, that pickup spot, you'll get left. So make sure you're in your pickup location. Chanel, thank you so much for being on the show. Brandon, we love you, bro. He's just gonna drop some cuss words and leave. Chanel, is there any cuss words you want to get off your chest?
I'm good. I'm good.
That's part of deliverance. We talked about that in our in deliverance class. Sometimes you gotta cuss. You gotta let them out.
Apostle Turner was like, "There's some of y'all that got a gift," and he goes like, "I'm gonna call you up and just let your gift flow one day." So hey, cussing is a gift. Chanel, thank you so much. We love you. Thanks for being on the show.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Man, brother, what a show.
This was a great show. I'm gonna watch back, and get a bunch of t-shirt ideas for merch. Because we had a lot of merch ideas for today's show.
We're gonna have to edit this replay. We're gonna have to edit this replay. Because we're trying to get monetized, and that quick way to get demonetized. But just to wrap up, man, thank you guys for tuning in. Everybody who watched, if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you're subscribed. Hit that notification bell and give it a thumbs up. If you're not watching on YouTube, hit us on YouTube. Subscribe. We need your subscriptions. We're trying to get to a place. We're trying to get to a place.
We're trying to take more vacation.
And we're trying to use that YouTube money to do it. What? No, I'm joking.
Yeah, we're trying to be like Diddy them in the 90s on these private jets, you feel me? Flying from city to city, you feel me?
Take that.
How LIN Live will come to Philly if we ain't got no jet, huh?
We need an LIN Live jet. Oh, now we sound like that pastor for real.
We need a jet. Saints. We need. Look, I have nothing to say about that. Either way, if the Lord told him to get a jet and ask the people for a jet, then that's what he did. And if he didn't tell him to, him and Jesus. I ain't got nothing to say about that.
Well, if you ever talk to a rich person, they tell you never to buy anything that floats or flies, because it's more maintenance than you get to enjoy. So,
we don't need a jet then?
Huh?
We don't need a jet.
We don't need a jet. Just give us the money so we can rent the PJ that we need. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We just want to have funds to be able to get on and get off when we need to. Hey, I fly Southwest. I'm happy with Southwest. Southwest has treated me very well over the years, and they got enough leg room in the emergency exit row, and I always get a seat.
I can say I probably never flown on Spirit Airlines, but anybody who does fly Spirit, you must be close to God, because I heard you got to fly those planes yourself. So
man, that's where my cousin gift flows is on Spirit. As soon as that seat in front of me hit my knee, I'm just like, mother father, mother tucker.
Laying hands. I was just trying to lay hands on them. I thought they had a need.
It gets your prayer life real, because sometimes them pilots on Spirit are budget pilots.
They had a couple spirits before they got on the plane.
Bruh.
Had something knock the edge off a little bit.
They felt real nervous flying Spirit. But no, just thank you all for watching. If you please get your merch, help us help you. You know what I'm saying? So buy your merch. Follow us on Instagram at LIN Live Official. And then we also have our personal Instagram handles in our name bars down here. Boom.
Yeah, down there. Hit us up about cool stuff. Spanky is a professional drummer and do it all. And shout out to Foundry Production. I am a professional Sam. And so shout out to
Fashion Guru.
Casually. Yeah, I'm getting there. Casually Saved. Shout out to my fashion blog, Christian fashion blog.
Yep. And then, like we said, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Also,
Amina's Creation. Buy stuff from El Delmina. Amina's Creation.
Get your blingy things. Get your blingy things. She
was making blingy things before Gucci was so icy.
Facts. Also, we remember there's a night to remember from our Liberty Temple Bolingbrook location. Check that out. If you're one of the 12 couples to making it to the building, get in the building. You're gonna be other way. There you go, sir. Get in the building, because you ain't want to miss it. But it's also going to be available online. We're going to be streaming live. There will be a host and some comedy and fine dining, not regular dining, but fine dining. Dining. So you got to get the silverware. Don't pull out the plastic forks. They also have sponsorship opportunities available for that. So if you are looking to be a sponsor, that information is posted on the Liberty International Network. No, the Liberty Bolingbrook Facebook page. Go check it out and make yourself a part of that night in some shape or form. Also, there's a deliverance night this Friday coming up at Liberty Temple, Chicago. If you're blessed enough to make it in the building, if you can't make it in the building, or if you're not feeling well, please stay home and stream it and get your deliverance virtually.
You feel me? Home, phone them. Stay at home.
If you walk in there sick, we gonna sick Brandon on you in the hazmat suit. We gonna gangster you out there.
clean out the door. It's gonna be like Jazzy Jeff for the Fresh Prince. It's gonna be flying bodies to the front door. So check that out. Oh, and also we're coming on to what 39 years of ministry. So
Liberty Temple's pushing 40.
Yeah, we pushing 40. We're getting up there, y'all. We're getting up there, and we couldn't have done it without you. It sounds like one of those like telethons. We couldn't have done it without the contributions and your great help.
So stay tuned for that information. We'll have that for you next week. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for watching. I am Alfonso Spanky Jones.
And I'm Samuel Sam Anthony.
We love you.
I'll put that myself.
I mean, you are Samuel. You know, that is you. We love you, and we'll see you all next week.
It's LIN Live with Spank and Sam. It's a show for everyone, boy, woman, girl, and man. So tune in on Facebook and YouTube. Guaranteed to make you laugh and make you feel good. Yeah. It's the LIN Live show with Spank and Sam. It's the LIN Live show with Spank and Sam. It's the LIN Live show with Spank and Sam. It's the LIN Live show with Spank and Sam.
Man, we are so